The last time the Jamison family was seen before they vanished was on October 8, 2009. They were Bobby Dale Jamison, 44, Sherilyn Leanne Jamison, 40, and Madison Stormy Star Jamison, their 6-year-old daughter. A man who lived in the mountains in southeast Oklahoma last saw the family, who were residents of Eufaula, Oklahoma, at the time of their disappearance. The man told investigators, however, that throughout that time he saw no one else in the neighborhood, just the family. The Jamisons were officially in the vicinity to inspect a 40-acre parcel of land that they intended to buy. Strangely enough, they intended to reside there in a storage container they now owned on their Eufaula property. 8 days after the Jamisons were last seen alive, on October 16, the case's first significant finding was made. About a quarter-mile from the Jamisons' last known position, hunters came across the Jamisons' abandoned and locked truck in a remote area of the woods. Bobby's wallet, Sherilyn's handbag, jackets, a GPS, Bobby's cell phone, $20 in cash in a bank bag hidden beneath the driver's seat, and last but not least, the Jamisons' starved but astonishingly alive pet dog Macy were all discovered by detectives inside the truck. The picture of Bobby's daughter Madison on his cell phone, which was discovered in the truck, was thought to have been taken the day before they vanished. One important finding was that there was no indication of any kind of struggle on the truck. Israel Beauchamp, a former sheriff of Latimer County, would later say, "I believe they were compelled to pull over and got out of the truck to meet with someone they know. And I believe they either departed voluntarily or under duress." The family had been farther up a nearby hill before the site where their truck and belongings were located, according to the GPS unit in the pickup. Footprints were discovered there after investigators tracked the GPS locations. A large-scale aerial and ground search party was created by more than 300 individuals, comprising volunteers and law enforcement, 1 day later on October 17. Sadly, the leads dried up and the hunt for the Jamisons was canceled, which takes us to the second significant and regrettable finding in this case. On November 16, 2013, while searching the deep woods for potential deer hunting spots, hunters came across the partially skeletal remains of 3 bodies, 2 adult and 1 youngster. Less than 3 miles separated the site of the Jamisons' disappearance from where the bodies were found more than 4 years prior. Upon conducting a follow-up search, investigators found adult teeth, shards of clothing, adult arm and leg bones, and pieces of bone. In the end, the bones would be identified as belonging to the missing Jamison family. Dr. Joshua Lanter, the state medical examiner for Oklahoma, stated that the incomplete skeletal remains may have contributed to the unclear cause and manner of death. Although Lanter said she didn't see any signs of trauma, she couldn't completely rule it out because of the incomplete remains. Lanter was also unable to rule out illness. Additionally, there was proof of animal damage done after death. According to Lanter's final case report, the deaths had questionable circumstances. A stolen briefcase and a missing .22 caliber handgun registered to Sherilyn Jamison are 2 other items from the investigation that are worth mentioning. Neither of these items was ever located. Due to their impairments, Bobby and Sherilyn were both receiving disability checks at the time of their abduction and were not employed. Bobby was placed on disability following an automobile accident. However, it's important to note that Sherilyn's mother, Connie Cockotton, said she was unaware of any settlement related to the collision that could account for the $32,000 in cash discovered in the Jamisons' truck. Nobody, not even Cockotton, is aware of the source of this money. Regarding the investigation, former Sheriff Israel Beauchamp said that there doesn't appear to be any signs that the Jamisons were in trouble or looking to start a new life. The security video that was shot outside the Jamison residence added an unusual twist to the case. According to Daily Mail, the film was taken on the day they departed and showed the pair carefully packing to go, making multiple quiet journeys between their house and car. Beauchamp characterized their movements as, quote, trance-like. On occasion, they would merely pause and gaze on the video. Additionally, Beauchamp stated, "Normally, you can do an investigation and begin to rule out certain alternatives one by one. In this instance, we haven't been able to achieve that. It seems like anything is possible with this family." The family just got lost in the forest and they perished from exposure and cold. Though not intense enough to claim their lives, the Jamisons' last known location saw a lot of rain in the days that followed their disappearance. At that time, the lowest temperature recorded in the area, according to weather records from the Farmer's Almanac, was 40 degrees. Recall that the bodies were discovered not far from their truck 7 miles. The Jamisons committed murder and suicide. An 11-page mysterious letter that had been discovered in the Jamisons' abandoned truck would come to light during the investigation. Sherilyn wrote Bobby what was referred to as a hate letter in which she accused him of being a recluse. In the family home, there was also another letter that allegedly mentioned a death. As the former Sheriff Beauchamp put it, they were definitely a death-obsessed family. Sherilyn's mother, however, has maintained that Bobby and Sherilyn were decent parents on numerous occasions. As I've said from the beginning, I believe that someone killed them. Unless something had been done to them, Bobby and Sherilyn would never have allowed anything to happen to Madison. Bob Dean Jamison, Bobby Jamison's 67-year-old father, killed the Jamisons. About half a year before to the family's disappearance in 1929, Bobby had requested a protection order against his father. It is said that in November 2008 and April 29, Bob made 2 distinct threats to kill Bobby and his family. Bobby did not explain in the petition how his father had made the threats. On November 1, 2008, he did write that Bob had hit me with his vehicle. Additionally, Bob described Bob as a very dangerous man who thinks he is above the law in his letter, and that he had participated with prostitutes, gangs, and meth. Bobby added, "My entire family is severely scared for their lives," in his appeal. "I always feel afraid." On May 18, 2009, after testimony in the case, a judge revoked the protection order. At the time of the Jamison family's disappearance, Bobby Jamison was also suing his father. The main claim of the lawsuit was that Bobby occasionally worked for free at his father's petrol station, where he was promised half of the sales but was never compensated for them. However, prior Sheriff Beauchamp had labeled Bobby and Sherilyn as scammers, since they had sued 3 other people in 1925 following an automobile accident. Additionally, although Bob Dean was disturbed at the time, according to Jack Jamison, Bobby's uncle and brother, Jack was pretty sure he was not capable of being involved in that. Cult members murdered the Jamisons. Connie Cockhouten, Sherilyn's mother, thinks a religious cult in southeast Oklahoma killed the Jamisons. Cockhouten claimed that Sherilyn was on a hit list maintained by the sect. Following the airing of the Jamison family special on Investigation Discovery's disappearance program, Sherilyn's close friend Nikki Shenold reported receiving a call from an unidentified woman. According to reports, this woman told Shenold that she had formerly belonged to a white supremacist organization that maintained a book with a list of individuals who had caused them issues. This woman said that sometimes she would go home and look up a name she had seen on the internet if she could remember it. This had brought her into the cases of Sherilyn and Bobby Jamison, among other missing persons. Shenold stated that she was unsure of how to interpret the caller. A 1993 Oklahoman article reported that a few cults had emerged in eastern Oklahoma, but James Webb, U.S. Marshal, noted that there hasn't been any activity in a couple of years. There have also been rumors that the Jamisons practiced witchcraft. There were reports of a witch Bible in the Jamison residence. That being said, Nikki Shenold asserts that Sherilyn Jamison purchased the witch Bible in jest. Nevertheless, according to Gary Brandon, their Eufaula pastor, Bobby admitted that he was reading a satanic Bible. Additionally, unexplained graffiti was found on the enormous storage container housed on the Jamisons' property. 3 cats killed by people in this area to date, stated one line, which is object to the death of their black cat. Sherilyn's mother also mentioned that her daughter had been acting strangely. She lost all sense of reason. She picked me up on the street after driving me to Oklahoma City one day. I should get out of my car, she said. Thus I did. That security film with the 2 Jamison parents looking like they're in some sort of trance-like state was, of course, the primary piece of evidence of odd conduct. There are additional reports that the Jamisons claim to have 2 or 4 ghosts in their house. Father Gary Brandon even disclosed to investigators that Bobby Jamison had contacted him before with a question concerning special bullets that could be used to shoot ghosts. There was drug usage. Drug use may be the cause of all of the Jamison parents' peculiar conduct, as previously indicated. There were in fact reports that the parents of the Jamison family were drug dealers, and some people think that the family was part of a drug deal gone wrong. According to Sherilyn's mother, who didn't think drugs were involved, the couple had been having financial difficulties, as reported by the Oklahoman in May 2010. It's all conjecture at this point, but it's possible that the $32,000 in cash had anything to do with a potential transaction because it doesn't make sense how the Jamisons got that much money, much less in the car where they vanished. After seeing the peculiar surveillance footage, police immediately suspected drugs, but former Sheriff Beauchamp claimed there was no proof the Jamisons used or sold drugs. However, he added that he could not completely rule out the idea that narcotics played a role in the disappearance. To be honest, a lot of people have brought up the fact that if there had been some sort of drug-related incident, the Jamisons probably would not have brought 6-year-old Madison along.